Hi everybody, welcome back to Sticks and Stones. I'm Kevin. Good to see everybody. Today we're going to go through another basswood carving. I'm probably going to get this block here and we're going to try and make a decent little wizard on them. People seem to like the wizards, so I'm going to cover that again. I did have some people that asked me, I think it was Tammy, asked me to show more of the stuff I work on when I'm doing videos. So this right here is a quick video that I just made and put it on today. And it's just a quick little wizard that we made. I actually made this in the middle of the day and still want to tweak them and sand them and pick out a couple little things in his eyes and everything. But I'm going to clean him up and I'll give him some paint or give him a finish or something. But anyway, I made a video on that and it was like an hour and a half long. So what I did was I fast forwarded it. So sorry if I didn't really explain much in that video and it wasn't really a great teaching video, but it was just something to kind of throw on YouTube and keep the channel going at the moment. We'll go into more detail with something like that today. Other things I have going on, oh, I don't know what's in my shop. Here's another little whittle that I did during the week. This right here is another mushroom guy. I didn't make a video on him. I just kind of was sitting in the chair and I was eating lunch and picked up my knife and a block of wood and I ended up with this guy. So I'm going to start making a whole bunch of these and I'm going to make a little series and I'll number them and I'll probably sell those on eBay. What else I have? This right here is something that'll be going on eBay soon. Somebody had asked me if I'd do a sleeping wizard. I only worked on him for about 20 minutes and I got a lot of his detail in, but I still want to work on his eyes and give him some more detail. I don't know if I'm going to do anything up here or not, but that's what's going on with that carving. And of course, in one of the most recent videos we did, I was doing this Indian and I started giving him some paint, and this right here is to the stage he's at, and he'll be ready soon to put him up on eBay. I'm going to do his eyes a little bit more, and I don't know what I'm going to do down here. But he's all done and finished. I didn't do anything on the back yet. I might just carve hair back here and then paint him, or I'll just paint him one solid color and just move him the way he is, you know. But that's how he came out. If you guys saw that video, if you'd like to see that video, make sure you check it out. It's on the channel and up. And let's get our little block of wood out here and let's try to make another wizard. And we'll try and give him some depth and some nice features like the Indian here. And we'll take our time and we'll explain a little bit more if we can. And hopefully get you guys picking up your knives more often. And your gouges. Okay, let's go. Now this block right here isn't half as big as the block we made the Indian out of, right? I think it's about 4 inches. Oh, actually, no. It's 5 inches long, right? But it's definitely not as thick. It's about 1.5 inches thick, okay? So that's what we're going to use today. And we're going to carve on the corner like everything. There doesn't seem to be too many bad spots in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my marker here. We're going to draw a line. We want to give him pretty much of a hat, so we'll draw a line like that. And we'll give him plenty of room for a face, but still enough room for a hat up here. Just drop up your knife. If you don't have a knife, I'm using my flex cut detail knife here for this. I'm not using the rough out knife at the moment. And we're just going to push down and cut ourselves a little bit of a corner out here. 45 degrees down, 45 degrees up. And just kind of make a nice little indent like that. Okay, I'm going to come over here to the side. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to push up to my stop cut here and then push down, forming a bit of an angle. All right, and we're going to do the same on this side. Push up to the line, push down, clear your chip. Okay, that's going to start forming the base of his nose here. We'll come down a little bit further after we take a little more wood out of here. So we're going to keep going over to the side just a little bit. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. And we'll come down and we'll figure out where we want to put his nose. All right, now I'm just guessing here. I'm not really measuring anything. I'm going to push straight in. That gives me about the size of the nose that I want on this piece. And I'll try to stay in the camera. I know I have a very bad habit of pulling out. we're going to take some wood out here. We always start the same way when we're making a face, unless it's something real specific. I'm not really going to change much. We're going to keep covering the same thing so you guys get used to how we do this. Okay, just take that wood out and stop in relief cuts. Get yourself some pretty good depth. That way we can form a pretty good nose there. I want this pretty long too. And what I'm going to do right from there is I'm going to come right to the tip and I'm going to push that up right away and make a nice little flat spot there all the way up to the brow line. Okay. Now over here on the sides, I'm going to take my number 8 gouge. These are files that I'm using, my palm set. And I'm going to come over here right to the corner where I just stopped with this cut. All right. We're going to push it in, run it up the side. Get deep in the corner there by the side of the nose. Come over to the side here and clear that chip. Okay, leaving a nice little indent there. Come over here on this side, do the same thing. Run up the side of the nose. And try and get deep in the corner there and clear that chip. Now we have a nice little triangular shape here. Okay, I'm going to take my detail knife and we're going to clean that up. We're just going to kind of blend all that together. Get some light cuts, flip it over, blend it together on this side. All the way up to the top. Okay, so now we have a nice little profile started. His nose is going to be sticking out pretty good. Try and make sure that blends in pretty nice on both sides. If he's a little deeper on this side than on this side, I might want to run my gouge up there again, which I think I'm going to do. I want it a little bit deeper there. Okay. And again, I can clean this up with my knife or even the gouge that I have in my hand. All right. But whatever I do to one side, I'm going to try and use the same tool to do it on the other side. Okay. Now this is starting to shape out pretty good. We're trying to get kind of a triangle formed at the bottom here. What I want to do next is make sure that this piece right here is blending into the side of the face there pretty good, so we can form our nostrils. All right, we're going to take this gouge and we're going to flip it upside down just like that. All right, we're going to come over here to the side. We're going to push it in. We're going to start forming the base for our nostril here. Push that in pretty deep. Take a look at it. Make sure you like it. Try and make it the same on the other side. So we'll come over to this side. Same angle. Try to use. Try to push it in and look at them. Make sure they're pretty even if you like it. Now you can deepen it. Give it a turn or two. And we're going to come over here to this side and scoop that out around that nostril there. And now you have that wing of your nose all formed there. Let's do it on this side. Take that wood out. And you should have that on both sides. If you need to clean it up, just use your tool to recut. Okay. Scoop it out. You can go all the way up to the where it starts turning even, all right? And don't worry if it chips out a little bit. If it boogers up, we'll just clean that up as we start digging more into our carving here, okay? Let's come here under the nose for a second. And we're going to use the same gouge. This one's pretty big. But I'm going to push it in while I'm here. Give it a turn. And try and start forming a little bit of that nostril there. Trying to stay away from the very tip and trying to stay away from all the way back here. Okay. Let's go over here to this side. This right here is a little bit higher and a little bit chipped. So I'm going to kind of shave this one down just a little bit to make sure I can make that cut without breaking anything. Get everything out of my way. And I might want to flatten this right to the end and take this out for a minute. Make sure I have enough room there. And we're going to try and do the same thing on this side. We're going to take our gouge, invert it. And I'm trying to watch that I don't cut everything all the way out from underneath that nose. So in this case, this gouge is a little big, so I'm only using kind of half of this gouge. But I got 2 nostrils formed there, and we should be able to work with that. Okay, nose looks a little uneven to me, so we're going to try and clean that up by taking some of this wood and thinning it down on both sides. Come back when you get to the top, scoop some wood out there by the side, all the way down to that nostril. Open that up. We want room to clean this up, okay? From this side, we're going to come over and try and make that even. Giving ourselves lots of room. Opening this up so we can form our eyes in there. Okay, try and keep it clean. And we should end up with something looking like that. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here to the top here. I'm going to get this piece out of my way because we are going to form a hat. And I don't want all that so high for the whole carving. So I'm going to start pushing this up just a little bit, getting some of that off. That way you have room up here to mess around with the eyebrows. I might want to raise them and figure out what I want to do with the hat and stuff up there. Now this nose I want to set in just a little bit more. So I'm going to push this back at an angle, 45 degrees. And then I'm going to come 45 degrees down from the top. Let those cuts meet. That'll put a nice little flat spot there. And it'll start pushing that nose back, okay? Now we got to clean this up with our knife. Because he looks just a little bit funky. It's a little skinny there at the top. That's okay though. Once we clean everything and blend it together, we should be okay. He's a little crooked going that way, see that? So I'm going to take some wood out here. Trying to straighten him out. That looks a little better. And right up here in the corner, I'm going to push my knife in right there. Push it in again, making a small V cut, and take just a little bit of wood out there so that nose kind of forms a point at the top. I'm going to do that on both sides to straighten that nose out. One little cut there, little cut here. I'm going to try and take that little chip out and make that nose form a point at the top there. It's also going to be pushing it back in just slightly a little bit more. And he'll go into that wood pretty nice when we get the rest of our cuts in here. Right now it's about 12:30 in the morning a.m. I'm bored, can't sleep, so still sitting in my shop. Had a cup of coffee late and I'm wide awake, so I might as well make a video. Right, so see that nose the way it's sticking out now? And over here on this side, it's got a little bit of a spot right here I don't like, but I'm going to use my gouge for that. I'm going to come down here to the tip and I'm going to round it off. Try and clean it up just a little bit because it is a little bit messed up over here. And I'm probably going to have to strop my knife. It's not cutting the way I want. I know it's time for a stropping. Okay. So, I'm going to get my strop out here for a second. And I'm just going to run it across. Holding the blade flat. Flip it over. Push it away from me. Now, if my blade is facing me, I'm pushing away. Right? If the cutting edge is facing me. If the blade is facing away from me, I'll pull it towards me. That's how I usually strop my knives. Seems to give me the best results. Somebody might have another opinion. That's fine with me, but that's what I do. Okay? Seems to work for me. I'm just going to clean this up here because it's a little dug up. I took that chip cut out. Okay. Now his nose is a little rounder. It doesn't look too bad right here in this spot. I'm going to take a little wood out and try and clean that little cut up edge there. Good. Okay, I'm liking that better. Now, in the center here, remember, think of that center as more of a cylinder coming straight down, and then your nostrils on the sides. Don't think of it as a whole triangle. And then you can actually start forming your ball and everything at the end a lot easier. And your nose will look a lot better. Okay. Now, we're going to figure out, since he's going to be a wizard, what kind of mustache do we want to give him? We're going to start up here at the nostril line. We're going to bring this down. And I like to make these wizard mustaches long. And kind of turn just a little bit. So we're going to end up with something like this. Okay. And it'll come up here at the top. But we have to take all this and round it over first before we even start cutting that in. So, going back to my detail knife here, I'm going to take this corner off. And we're going to round this over and clean up under the nose just a bit. But we're going to leave it kind of high, except over here in the corner. And just kind of round this over. And then we'll redraw that mustache in. And again, dropping tools. I can't keep my tools on my bench for anything. I'm going to round this all the way down to here. Should have done this before I drew the mustache on, but that's an easy fix, right? When I get my gouge to do the nose, I'll clean all this up afterwards. Any wood that's a little boogered at the top. Yeah, sometimes I can't sleep. If I'm up late, I'll just come out to the shop and whittle. All right, I'm going to make that mustache again. Just pretty much like that. And we're going to take our V tool and we're going to cut that out. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, profile shot for you. Okay, I'm going to take my V tool next. No, this isn't my V tool, that's my gouge. Hold on. Taking my V tool here. And I'm just going to try and reinforce this nose a little bit before I start that mustache. I'm going to use my V tool to run around that nostril. Try and clean that up just a little bit at the top there. And we're going to bring it right down into that mustache. Just like that. Creating a deep crevice there. Let's do it on this side. Go around your nostril just ever so slightly. And come down right into that mustache. It's amazing how much I don't sleep lately. But at least I have carving to keep me busy. I'm never bored, that's for sure. Now, I'm just going around this line with my V-tool, and a point I want to make is, see this outside edge of your V-tool here? That's where, if you keep your eye on that, that's where that cut's going to be. Even if you're like this and you're in the center, that line is going to be moved over. It's going to be along the edge of this outside edge. That's the edge that's going to follow that line, okay? So if you're following a line, keep that in mind. That outside corner of your tool is where it's going to cut. Going to get a little deep at the bottom there. Going to start about here to go back up. Still trying to make this a little bit animated. I'm not really going straight. Okay. Sometimes I'll take a couple of extra swipes to make it a little deeper in that spot, like right up here at the top. Okay. Then follow my line. Notice how my thumbs are together. That V-tool isn't going to go any further than I want it to because this thumb right here is acting as a stop. And I'm just rocking my wrist, okay? When you get down here to the bottom, keep your thumbs together. Keep this hand below the wood. You don't want to go off the wood and give yourself a nice V-shaped cut because you will, okay? And just kind of rock your tool till you get to the end. Same here. Small controlled cuts. You don't want that V-tool running into your hand, trust me. Okay, going up here. And that's all I'm doing is outlining what we already drew on here. Get up to your nose, make sure you don't hit your nose hard, but try and bring it up into that nostril a little bit. Okay, now our mustache is all dug out here. I'm going to deepen it on this side. Right up around that nose. A couple extra swipes on the outside to get it a little bit more depth there. Because once we have it cut in, we want to, even if we take wood out around it, we still want to make sure. Oh, I didn't do this part actually. But I want to make sure I don't lose my lines because I already decided the way I'm going to do the mustache. Okay. All right, good. Now I'm going to go to my gouge and we're going to take the wood out from underneath it and from around it a little bit more. Okay, I have my number 8 back in my hand. This is a gouge. It's got a nice little sweep on it. I'm going to come under the mustache and take a little bit more of that wood out. Just like that. Again, I'm using my thumb as a stop here. Okay, this thumb. Thumbs together. Rock the tool. Okay. Using a scooping action and a slicing action in tough spots where it's not cutting. And try and just go around your line and relieve some wood. And again, move your hand down when you get over here. Get it out of the way. Push it right off the wood. Okay. Now we're going to go to the outside. And we're going to scoop some wood around it. Raising the mustache on the outside. Trying to show you nice and slow. Okay. Taking that wood on the outside down. We're leaving a groove around the outside. Come up here by the cheek. Where the nose stops. Take it out there and raise it there. Come over here by the nose. On this side, same thing. Go down around the outline that you cut in with your V-tool. Okay, that's all we're doing. Following that nice and slow. And pushing it off the edge, okay? Make sure your hand is not there when you do it. We have a little bit more to do on this side. Right here, I'm going to put it on the table here for this one. Get it a little bit sturdier. And I'm going to scoop it out there also. Now we have the whole mustache V-tooled out and then gouged out inside and outside. And it's going to leave a nice little, see right here, this high spot? That's where we're going to give him a lip. And it's going to look pretty animated because this is high here. The next thing we're going to do to keep that lip is to take a little bit of wood out right below it. In that spot right there. Okay, and we're going to run some hair off of that lip. So I'm just kind of digging down a little bit and trying to get this bump to stay though. But underneath it, say right here, if I went across this way, I'm going to leave a little bit of a high spot. Just like that. This is all just to give different little effects with the gouges. When you start using gouges and knives, it's so much fun because a couple of cuts and then you look at your carving and it's totally different. And you can start seeing other things or other potential things that you want to do just from taking a little bit of wood out in a spot. And then the carving looks different to you and it gives you an idea where you might want to go with it. Now right here, I don't want that as big and bulky as it was, but I do definitely want a difference in height. So I'm just going to make little cuts and see if I can kind of create what I'm looking for and get a little bit of different depth from here down to here. And at the same time, I'm creating valleys and grooves. You don't have to do the exact same thing, because a lot of times I just go around and keep gouging wood out till I see what I like, and then I go with that. Okay. And I do know I want them a little bit deeper right here than up here. And I want some hair to run from that. So I'm just going to keep going till I get about where I want. And to what I think, my eye thinks looks okay. So you can do this any way you want. But the idea is to take some wood out there and leave enough wood up here that we can form some kind of a lip. Okay. So I'm kind of gouging out my lip and putting a little bit of an indent underneath here to separate the height. Making it a little different so it just animates him a little bit more when you look at him, especially from the side. Okay, it just makes that beard start doing different things and it's not just so straight everywhere. Down at the bottom, I like to make cuts a little bit deeper. Kind of bring them down and off. And over here on this side too. I'll scoop it a little bit deeper at the bottom as I go off the wood. Okay. All right, that's not looking bad. Up here, now you notice our line moved for our hat. That's not a biggie. What we're going to do is we're just going to raise that up. Carvings can change on you in a minute. And even though I wanted to take his hat down this far, I want more room for his eyes, so I'm just going to change that angle just a little bit to something like this. And that could change. If I can get the hat lower, I'll make it lower. But I definitely want room for my eyes and up here, all right?